My parents kicked me out to let my golden child sister live in a house I had bought, even though I owned it. But karma moved faster than expected. I'm 37, and for the last 15 years, I've been building my career as a senior manager at a leading investment bank on Wall Street. This story revolves around my complicated relationship with my sister Emily, 47, my parents, both in their late 70s, and a house I recently purchased for them, a house that has become a source of ongoing family conflict. To understand how we got here, I need to start at the beginning. My parents were in their late 40s when I was born, and I was unplanned. My mother often told me they already had Emily, who was 10, and that she was more than enough. She didn't say it out of anger, but the way she said it made it sting all the same. As she arranged Emily's activities or prepared college applications, she would remark, "We didn't plan for you." These seemingly small comments served as constant reminders that I was an afterthought in the family and shaped my early childhood. I might not even have been born if it weren't for my maternal grandparents' insistence. My parents saw me as a burden, but my grandparents were thrilled at the thought of another grandchild. From the start, I was clearly an afterthought to my parents. Every morning, when they dropped me off at my grandparents' house, my father would say, jingling his keys, "You wanted her, Grandpa. She's all yours." My grandparents' home became my true refuge, a place where I was loved and wanted. They ensured I was fed, helped with schoolwork, and taken to the park. I spent hours learning numbers and problem-solving from my grandfather, a retired math professor, who always said, "Numbers never lie." His lessons shaped my career in ways I could never have predicted. My grandmother, a former high school teacher, patiently guided me through my studies, always insisting, "Knowledge is the one thing nobody can take from you." She also taught me to cook, not as a chore, but as a form of creativity and care. Those afternoons in their kitchen, discussing school and learning precise measurements, are among my most cherished memories. My parents, often tired and annoyed by the trip, would arrive late to pick me up. "Madison," my grandmother would say nightly, "you're the best thing that ever happened to us." In her embrace, I almost forgot I wasn't wanted anywhere else. My grandparents became my emotional anchor, providing the love and stability missing at home. My grandfather would often remind me, "Sometimes the best things in life aren't planned." At home, I lived as an afterthought, while Emily prepared for her promising future. She didn't actively exclude me. She simply ignored my presence, chatting on the couch about boys and college while I played in the corner. The difference in treatment between us was clear. My mother proudly shared Emily's achievements with family and friends: straight A's, debate team victories, college acceptances. They attended all of Emily's events, while offering tired excuses for skipping mine. My grandparents became my cheerleaders, attending every function with genuine pride. I hoped things would change when Emily left for college, expecting my parents to finally notice me. I was wrong. Instead, I became the household manager at 14. My mother would call me to clean the house immediately after school, taking over Emily's chores along with many others. I learned the washing machine's quirks by heart. Cleaning, cooking, and maintaining a home for parents who barely acknowledged me became my routine. My father's frequent reminder, "You live here, you need to contribute," reinforced the inequality. By 14, I was responsible for dinner too. My mother simply stopped cooking one day, declaring, "You're old enough. Dinner should be ready when we get home." Despite the domestic workload, I excelled academically. My teachers noticed my aptitude for economics and math and encouraged me to participate in competitions. My grandfather spent extra time teaching me advanced concepts, always saying, "You have a gift with numbers. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." College became my escape. After finishing chores each night, I would browse university websites, imagining life far from endless tasks and cold indifference. My hard work paid off. At 16, I earned straight A's and was accepted to several prestigious colleges, including programs renowned for finance. Then, Emily announced her engagement one Sunday. She burst in with a tall, well-dressed man, squealing, "Mom, Dad, this is James. We're getting married." My parents erupted with excitement, planning the perfect wedding, spending months and significant funds on it. Despite attending, my grandparents barely concealed their distaste for the extravagance. When I shared my college acceptance news at dinner, my mother barely looked up, murmuring, "We can't pay for it. We spent all our savings on your sister's wedding, even took a loan. There's nothing left for you." I hesitated, mentioning Emily's college had been funded. "That was different," my mother said condescendingly. "We saw potential in her. You should get a job, save, and take loans. That's responsible." My father added similarly, offering no sympathy. Shaking, I called my grandmother. Minutes later, crying, I entered their home and recounted everything. My grandfather's expression hardened, but I noticed a spark in his eyes. After a shared glance, he took my hand and said, "Madison, we've been saving for your education since the day you were born. We expected this." He returned with a folder from his study. Inside the folder, I found bank statements showing years of careful saving. My grandparents told me I could choose any university I wanted. They had it covered. That evening, I packed my essentials and moved in with them. When I informed my parents, they were watching TV and barely looked up. My mother muttered, "Whatever you think is best," without lifting her gaze. I could hear relief in her voice. The years that followed were transformative. I enrolled in one of the country's top business schools to study financial analysis. Perhaps my drive for accuracy came from witnessing my parents' poor financial choices. My professors noticed my aptitude and dedication early on, and I often stayed after class to discuss complex financial concepts. For the first time in my life, someone outside my grandparents saw my potential. I earned competitive internships at prominent financial institutions. Each summer brought new challenges and opportunities. Senior managers praised my analytical skills and attention to detail. During a performance review at Morgan Stanley, my supervisor told me, "You have a natural instinct for this. We'd love to have you back next summer." Except for calls with my grandparents, I kept my focus on school and career, giving little thought to family. After graduation, I secured a position at a leading financial firm in the city. I never imagined earning such a starting salary. I found a small, clean, secure one-bedroom apartment and felt grateful each morning not to cook for anyone but myself. I dedicated myself to every new challenge. My career quickly advanced, with bonuses and promotions I had once only dreamed of. Within 5 years, I reached a senior role, managing complex portfolios and key client relationships. I became recognized for strategic thinking and precision. Each accomplishment quietly affirmed that my parents had misjudged my capabilities. Through occasional calls with my grandparents, I learned that Emily's marketing career wasn't going as planned. Her husband James struggled to maintain steady work. They often asked my parents for financial help. My grandmother confided, "Your mother emptied her retirement account last month to help them with rent. She just can't say no." Even with my parents' support, a year later Emily and James couldn't cover rent. They moved back into my former bedroom with their 7-year-old twins. My parents, who had once admired Emily's independence, were now fully responsible for her family. I maintained my distance, focusing on my own growth. Every success reinforced that I was not the failure my parents once assumed I would be. By my mid-30s, I had substantial savings and investments, enough for a down payment on a home. Then everything changed. My grandfather died unexpectedly from a severe heart attack. He had been more than a grandfather. He was a guiding figure when no one else supported me. My grandmother, devastated, passed less than 2 months later. Suddenly, both of the grandparents who had been my true family were gone. At the funeral, I heard my mother's voice behind me. "Madison, do you want some help with the arrangements?" She looked older and worn, Part of me wanted to refuse, but her expression made me pause. "Sure," I said. Over the next few days, as we arranged the service, my parents began opening up. They admitted they were struggling financially. One afternoon, while choosing flowers, my father revealed, "We haven't been financially well off since retirement. We barely make ends meet," adding that Emily's family continued to live with them. A week after my grandmother's funeral, we gathered for the reading of the will. Emily and James slouched in chairs near my parents, while I sat opposite. The room smelled of furniture polish and old paper. Tension was palpable. Mr. Patterson, the notary, began reading in a monotone, but what followed captured everyone's attention. "To our beloved granddaughter Madison, we leave our house at 1542 Maple Street and $150,000. A heavy silence followed. My mother Sip's grip on my father Sip's arm tightened. Emily Sip's mouth fell open, and my father stared at the floor. Mr. Patterson then read a personal note from my grandfather to my mother. "Margaret, we provided you with $200,000 when you needed it most. We expect you will respect our final decision." My mother's face flushed red and paled. Emily and James exchanged anxious glances, and my father stayed silent. Later, in the parking lot, my parents approached me. Desperation had replaced the composure they showed during the funeral. "Madison, we always assumed we would inherit the house," my mother said shakily. "We're counting on it to cover the mortgage and Emily's expenses." My father added how Emily's children needed a yard, and Emily chimed in. I simply got into my car and left, thinking about my grandparents' parting gift. Over the following weeks, I focused on my life and work. Although the inherited house held priceless memories, it was too large for me alone. I learned that my parents' finances were strained from supporting Emily and her family. After consideration, I decided to buy them a better, more manageable house, a single-story ranch with a garden, using money from my grandparents' house and my own savings. When I shared the plan, my parents cried with joy. After several weeks of searching, we found the perfect home, spacious, accessible, and in a quiet neighborhood. My parents were ecstatic, and I suggested a proper housewarming party. Weeks passed, and I kept expecting an invitation. My mother replied vaguely, "We're still planning." My father said, "We want it to be perfect. We still let you know soon." Frustrated, I searched for Emily on Facebook. There it was, a post announcing the housewarming party for Mom and Dad that Saturday, with photos showing decorations and catering. Everyone except me had been invited. I called my mother, voice trembling. "Do you have a date for the housewarming yet?" "Oh, honey, not just yet," she said. "Most likely in a few weeks. Details are still being worked out." I was left wondering, should I confront them or let it go? How could they exclude me after everything I had done, after purchasing the house for them? The answer would come, but not in the way I expected. I had anticipated this moment. On Saturday, I parked a block away from the house I had purchased for my parents. Through the windows, I saw dozens of people mingling, Emily's friends, relatives, and acquaintances. My father proudly gave tours of the house I had bought, while my mother, adorned in her special occasion pearls, welcomed guests at the entrance. Twinkling lights and banners decorated the mansion, and laughter and music spilled into the street. It was clear they had spent weeks organizing this housewarming celebration, one to which I had not been invited. I sat in my car for a while, watching Emily's twins chase each other past groups of adults. Through the wide bay window, I noticed moving boxes labeled in Emily's handwriting, signaling that she had already begun relocating her family's belongings. Inhaled deeply and entered through the side door. The scent of flowers and catered food filled the air. I followed my father's voice into the living room. "After all these years of hard work, we finally did it. We bought our dream home," he declared. My mother added enthusiastically, "And don't forget Emily. She helped so much with the down payment. Such a wonderful daughter, always thinking of family first. When someone asked about me, she dismissed my absence. Our younger daughter hasn't helped at all, too busy with her career to care about family. Heat rose to my face as I stood in the doorway. Actually, I said, causing the room to fall silent, I think you've got that backwards. My father was the first to recover, forcing a tight grin. Madison, what a surprise. Especially since you forgot to invite me to the housewarming for the house you bought. I replied calmly. The room grew quieter. Emily's husband looked puzzled, noticing everyone's tension. One of the twins tugged at Emily's sleeve, saying, "You bought it, yes, but it's ours now. You can't expect eternal gratitude." My mother spoke with a hint of harshness. "That Sep's right. You stir not welcome here. This is a family gathering, and Emily Sep's family will be living here too. They Seps sold their house. It's Seps all arranged. The twins need a stable home." I reached into my bag and held out a folder. "You seem confused. This house belongs to me. I never signed it over to you." My mother's face went from pale to ashen. My father stammered about his responsibilities, while Emily's confident smile faltered as she realized her plans were unraveling. Despite trembling, I continued. "I was planning to give it to you tonight, thinking this could be a fresh start, but you've shown me that nothing has changed." "You can do this," my mother screeched. "Your parents?" "No," I said softly. "You stir just the people who gave birth to me. My real parents were my grandparents. They taught me that family is about love, respect, and guidance, not just blood. They also taught me about finances, which is why I own this house and you don't set." Turning to the astonished guests, I added, "This party is over. This is my house, and I'm asking everyone to leave." My parents, Emily, James, the twins, and all the guests departed in tears. I watched them drive away one by one. Outside, the ornamental lights continued to sparkle mockingly, and inside, half-empty drinks and scattered plates covered the surfaces. What was meant to be a gesture of reconciliation had become the final fracture in our relationship. Weeks later, I learned they had purchased a small apartment using the proceeds from their previous home. 3 generations were now crowded into a 2-bedroom space. Emily, James, and my parents called incessantly at first. Their messages ranged from angry accusations, "You've become so heartless, just as your grandparents warned," to guilt-tripping pleas, "How could you do this to your own family?" I blocked their calls, emails, and social media accounts, a firm boundary after years of hurt. The house now stood empty, a reminder of what might have been. I made an appointment with a real estate agent to sell it. Some asked if I would try to repair relationships or forgive them. I realized that forgiveness does not require reopening doors to those who have repeatedly caused harm. Forgiving oneself for leaving may be more important than forgiving others. As I put away an old wedding photo of my parents, I promised my future children they would never need to earn my love or approval. Unlike my parents, I will love my children unconditionally, just as my grandparents loved me. Driving past my parents' apartment one day, I saw Emily's twins playing in a tiny courtyard. I felt a pang of sadness, not for them, but for relationships that had never truly existed. My grandparents taught me that true family is built on love, respect, and mutual support, not merely genetics. Walking away was the healthiest decision. I never opened my mother's last unread mail. It no longer mattered. At last I had placed my own value above their conditional approval. Their version of family had no place in my life. New opportunities await, free from the burden of seeking approval from those unable to give love freely. I learned from my grandparents what family should be. I will build that kind of family, one based on respect, unconditional love, and equality. The chapter of being the family afterthought is over. Being the author of my own life is only the beginning. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more real-life stories.